Welcome back. Now, in a country where road traffic incidents remain one of the leading causes of injury and death, the importance of clear, visible and well understood road signs cannot be overstated. But across Nigeria, a troubling reality persists. Road signs are either faded, missing, obstructed or simply misunderstood by drivers. From urban highways to rural back roads, the consequences are dire. Confusion at intersections, reckless speeding and preventable accidents. While the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, continues to emphasize road safety education, it's clear that poor signage is an often overlooked threat to public safety. More than just infrastructure, road signs are a form of communication, and in Nigeria, that message often gets lost in translation. Language barriers, poor public enlightenment and campaigns, and also inconsistent traffic enforcement further widen the gap between intent and reality. And so to understand the depth of the issue, News Central's correspondent Oluwakemi Alimi went behind the scenes to explore how road signage, or the lack of it, is shaping driving behavior and road safety outcomes in Nigeria. Here's a report. Take a look.
Across major cities in Nigeria, including Lagos, road signs are meant to serve as a universal language for drivers. But the reality on our roads tells a different story. How well do Nigerian drivers, both private and commercial, understand these crucial road markers?
This road sign, it enables drivers, it cautions the drivers, it provides safety for them on the road, it gives a very clear direction, and it even prevents hazards on the road as well.
We have three types of signs. We have the warning sign. Warning sign is usually like this. It has the yellow background and the red border. Underneath, we also have two types. We have the prohibitory and the mandatory. The mandatory is telling you that for you to apply this rule, you have to obey this. That's, you have to do this. And then the prohibitory will tell you that this, do not do this.
No left turn, no right turn, no overtaking, no turn gas. Okay, no cell phone. Cell phone is prohibited. Max speed 100%.
The traffic lights, the green, the amber, and the red.
No left turn, no right turn, no U-turn, no overtaking zone, pedestrian crossing, no horning, no tricycle. That 100 max speed 100 kilometers. This is for truck heights that are way too high. No smoking, no calling, no cycling, no car zone, push carts position. I can't remember what this load lift is again. Then turn left, turn right, pass ethics, keep left, keep right. Then yeah, that's a few I know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please come for yourself.
No U-turn, bumps ahead, school children crossing.
But beyond compliance, a bigger issue is the state of road signs in Nigeria. Many road signs are either inadequate, faded, or completely missing. Some are placed too low to be visible, while others are damaged or defaced. And in some cases, there are no signs at all. Yet, drivers are still apprehended for violating traffic laws.
The challenge is that many of those traffic lights are not working. Nobody to even control. The last one will not be there. They'll be sitting down, expect that the traffic light is working, which traffic light is not working. When the drivers are wait, they see it's still not working, they try to apply the road. When the law enforcement come, they will come to arrest you. They don't want to know, hear your explanation, what really happened.
Recently, so they hold some of our vehicles and take to Alausa. Some have to build the vehicle 70,000 upward. They say that it's one way. But actually the road is one way then. But they have removed the signboard a while ago. So everybody has accepted that, okay, this road is not one way again. Why? That's why we are using it. But if they turn it to a one way, they're supposed to replace it back. Then we will know that this is one way. We should not pass there.
The few challenges I observed while driving is, in the sense of road signs, you don't usually see signs where they are meant to be. So you could actually do a U-turn in a place where you're not meant to do a U-turn, and the police will just pop out from nowhere and just hold you.
There was a sign there before that shows no U-turn, but the sign is no more there.
The Lagos State government is not resting on its laurels, particularly the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, who is the custodian of most of these road furnitures in Lagos. Once they found out that a particular road sign in a very location has been faded off or is about fading off, automatically they have it replaced. And I must tell you this time around, the Lagos State government through LASMA has made apprehension or enforcement so transparent with the use of traffic management solution devices now. Because once you are caught with that camera, it's an handy thing just like a phone you are holding. Once you are caught with that camera, within about 10-20 minutes, you receive a notification on your phone that you have committed a traffic offense, and it will come up with a video. And if you try to play that video, you will see your vehicle with the registration number, the time, the areas, and the location, the day at which you had committed this traffic offense.
So who is responsible for ensuring that road signs are well placed and visible? And what is being done to improve the situation?
We have taken the education away from just drivers. It has now cut across to the passengers too. So we're telling them, speak up against reckless driving and drivers so that we can hear you and then combat them the more.
As Nigeria grapples with the growing concerns around road safety, the condition and clarity of road signs remain a critical piece of the puzzle. Without consistent maintenance, proper placement, and widespread public education, these vital tools lose their purpose. Maintaining and understanding road signs should be a collective responsibility and not just about avoiding fines. It's about saving lives. In Lagos, for News Central, Oluwakemi Alimi.
And ladies and gentlemen, Oluwakemi joins us now in the studio. Great to have you here with us. Thank you very much for coming through, Oluwakemi Alimi.
Thank you for having me.
I practiced like 10 times for that name, and I don't think I got the
into my words.
Did I?
Alimi.
Alimi. All right, pass. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First time on Breakfast Extra?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. You're welcome. We're nice people here. We're not. Judith, please.
Well, I am her. Well, it's good to have you as always, Kemi. I mean, I have to start with what inspired you to dig into this particular story about road signs and compliance in Nigeria.
Oh, yes. Moving around and relating with people, and also from personal experience, you realize that many of our road signs are not in proper shape. There's a lot of feedback from people saying that they get to certain areas and these road signs are not there and they are apprehended. I mean, people say that, oh, perhaps there used to be a road signage there before, and then at some point, that road sign was no longer there. And there's nothing indicating, you know, and then you just drive past that same area one day and then somebody jumps on the road and apprehends you.
So it's a break in communication. First off, there's the fact that these signs might not be there. They were there at one point, or they've been destroyed, or maybe they faded off. And then there's actually whether people actually understand them. Because I can see that you took these the sheet with all these road signs. How many drivers did you give a pass mark? How many would you say got over 50% and above? Because I tell you this, you drive, you've got a license. Before you got your license, you're put through this, I don't know what to call it, it's a makeshift class, but you're made to identify these road signs. And I'm wondering how many people went through that, whether they actually passed through that course before getting their licenses. So how many did get pass mark?
Okay, from the people that I interviewed, I would say that all of them got the pass mark. Yeah, I spoke with about 5 drivers, 3 commercial drivers and 2 private car owners. And from speaking with them and like doing the little tests, like a teaser on the road signs, they did well. I mean, there was a particular guy who knew almost all the road signs, and he did share with me that he had been learning from secondary school. So he really knew the road signs. And I was also impressed by the commercial drivers that I spoke with. I mean, they know it to a large extent. That is those that I spoke with.
So if you look at this, I mean, the small group compared to the large populace. So did you speak to officials? What then is the problem? Is it visibility? Is it the fading of the signage, or is it just comprehension itself?
So
or absence of even the signage completely?
So it's all encompassing. It's all of that. And in the course of this report, another thing that I realized that is some drivers actually know these road signs, but then some decide to ignore. Another thing is that some are actually faded, and you really cannot interpret. You're not sure what it is saying. Another issue is when they're not properly placed, they're not that visible, so, you know, at certain heights that you can see.
So Judith, I've got two stories. One story, you actually just kind of like alluded to one of them at the start of your submissions there. I remember this one time I took a U-turn. There's supposed to be a sign there, but it was absent. It was faded. It was just a metal board. And as I took that U-turn, this gentleman, not so gentle gentleman, jumped in front of my car. And then they're like, hey, illegal turn, illegal turn. I'm like, whoa, what illegal turn? I turn here every time. Like, can't you see the sign? And I'm like, what sign? They're like, that sign. And I actually took them back. I'm like, show me what this sign actually says. Now, the funny thing with that instance was the fact that a couple other commercial buses, now I'm going back to what you said about the commercial buses knowing these signs and still choosing to flout them. The commercial buses had actually taken the same turning. And I took it, but I was the only one who was apprehended by the authorities. And I asked myself, why? I don't know if you came across this.
You know, you'll be missing a side mirror, and they will hold you. And
I'm not missing a side mirror.
No, I'm just using. I'm just using an example. You will be missing a side mirror, and a keke napep, a kurupe, and a danfo would pass, and they would not have side mirrors, all side, and they would not stop.
They would stop them.
I've seen it.
The private vehicle.
Times.
Yeah. So I don't know if you spoke to any of the authorities on these kinds of instances and how these signages, these missing signs, are being exploited by the authorities that are out there.
Okay, so for commercial drivers who seem to have an immunity,
Immunity is the word.
Immunity,
yes.
in quote, kind of, as to breaking road signs or traffic laws. I did, you know, probe into that. And the authorities made me realize that there are a number of commercial drivers that have been arrested and taken to the mobile courts for breaking, you know, traffic rules. And it is not like they are above the law, so to say, or they have that immunity, that they also apprehend them. And they have a number of cases that they always try at the mobile courts.
It will still take some believing, you know, because from what we see is very different from what you're telling us.
Yes.
So, at the risk of making a case for this, you know, the agents, I feel like the danfo drivers are much more. They're a handful. You know what I mean? Like it's much more. They'd rather be like, yeah, I can't deal with your nonsense. So they just go. You know, go and look for another official that might be in front that will have the power to stop you and deal with you. You know what I mean? I feel like it, because to deal with those, and they are ready. Have you forgotten the video where this guy almost set his boss and the entire
Oh, the one at Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. You know what I mean? Like, whenever they're about to dig each other out, there's always something that's got to happen. You know, either somebody gets bodily harm, you know, the whole place, there's traffic. It's a mess.
Yeah, it's do or die for them, I guess. But it's just unfortunate that private vehicles have to take the brunt of it each time these things happen. You also noted that the authorities for the signage are different. It's not the FRSC's prerogative. It's not the VIO's. It's under their purview. No. So who exactly is responsible for these road signages and their maintenance?
It is the Ministry of Transportation.
The Ministry of Transportation. But all these other offices fall under them as well. The FRSC, the VIO, the LASMA, I'm guessing.
Okay, so the FRSC is not under the Ministry of Transportation, but LASMA is a kind of division or subsidiary. They work together. The VIS is also under the Ministry of Transportation. And while doing this report and speaking with the LASMA PRO, he did indicate that they make reports of these faded signages, and that LASMA has a wide coverage because they have men almost in the nooks and crannies of Lagos, so they're able to make reports, and then send to the Ministry of Transportation, and the Ministry of Transportation, works on that.
Okay. What? No. These nooks and crannies, you say that they have men. They really are indeed in these nooks and crannies, but I'm not sure if they're checking the signages or checking for, defaulters who, might not really be defaulting because of the poor signage.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my take.
I was going to say something.
Yes,
Like you said, he also, indicated that we should know that the men don't carry arms. And some of these commercial drivers, like Judith also said, can be very crazy. So at times they're restricted. They also have records of some of them men knocked down, or assaulted, by commercial drivers. So while they still try, to make these men, commercial drivers, still obey the traffic rules and all that, and still apprehend them when they have to. The times their men also have to be careful, for their own safety as well.
Very wild indeed. And just talking about problems and safety, what was it like going out on the street and compiling? I know you talked about the inspiration behind it, but what were the challenges that you faced, especially talking to the authorities or the agencies in charge?
Okay. Getting to speak with authorities initially was kind of cumbersome, kind of.
Tell us.
But eventually I was able to, yes, I agree that they're very busy people, and there are a lot of things that they're doing, but at the end of the day, they gave me audience, and they were very welcoming. We even had the LASMA PRO come to our studio for an interview, and he also joined one of the breakfast shows during the week. So at the end of the day, it was worth it. Yes,
that's good.
Worth it.
I do hope that these kinds of reports that you put together actually are seen by the authorities, and that the little challenges that we, the road users, go through with the authorities that are supposed to be either enforcing or making sure that these road signs are in good places, I hope that they see and make perhaps maybe changes here or there, especially regarding the cases of agents provocateurs. That's where the LASMA or any authority takes advantage of poor signages to extort.
Yes, talking about extorting people unnecessarily, the LASMA was able to, tell us that they now have toll-free lines that people can call, and make their complaints known or even make inquiries. And they also said they have a device now that when their men, take a shot of you and all that, and they send to you, there's a section where you can complain, you can, file a complaint, you can defend yourself.
Now we have to talk about this. Oh no. So, personal experience, I've had that situation. It was a road violation. I was, I think it was something having to do with my papers, but I had renewed them. However, the cameras caught my car after I had renewed them, but still said that I hadn't renewed my papers. Apparently, it hadn't reflected on their system. Now, I queried this to no avail. There was no proper response, no proper conclusion to it. I still had to end up paying the fine before re-registering my vehicle. And I dare say that that's the problem with most Lagosians. And I'm saying this to the authorities. That's the problem most Lagosians are going through, especially here in Lagos, that your systems don't update regularly people's payments or I almost said subscriptions, people's payments or re-registrations. And that's a problem for us. And I'm very, very scared now when it comes to the new speed laws, because I don't know whether they're actually capturing the right data. It really worries me. And driving in Lagos now has really become a very slow affair. I think it's taken out of manpower time to have people drive at such slow speeds. I think it's a bit too much. 100 kilometers an hour was what it was from the 80s. All of a sudden, 80 kilometers. I understand, but 80 kilometers itself could be dangerous to people on the roads.
Can I just ask about, you talking to the respondents as well? Did they also express their grievances with the signages, and what was the most bizarre story that you heard from the respondents?
Oh, yes. The common complaints were that there used to be a road sign here before, and you wake up one day, it's no longer there. And then you drive past, and then they're telling you that it's there.
Didn't you know?
In the course of this report, I also realized or discovered that some road signages are perhaps taken away because of those who vandalize or those who steal them. So at times they're taken away, maybe overnight for safety, and then the following day they will be hung back there. And so between that period where it's not there, perhaps you could pass through your drive-through and you are safe. And then, there's something about the mind. You've driven past somewhere, you did not see the signage, and then you're driving past again, your mind has registered that, oh, there's no signage, but then you wouldn't know it's been hung back, and then you drive past and you're apprehended.
And this is a broader issue, right? Because because from what you just described, if there's a signage that's there, but they have to take it down every night because of people who go and vandalize public infrastructure, and they sell them, especially when they're metals, and then you remount them back in the morning, it does something. There's no consistency in our messaging. And that can also cause a breakdown of order. Not necessarily law, but more order. And Lagos, which is a metropolitan, the commercial nerve of Nigeria, it's pretty much important. I mean, I'd like for you to speak on, consistent messaging and, also the issues that these agencies face as well. Conveying consistent messaging when it comes to driving and signaging.
Okay, well, they informed me that particularly the FRSC, that they organize trainings for drivers. And of course, one of the commercial drivers also told me that before getting their driver's license, at least for him, he attended such class where he was taught traffic signs, road signs, and then he took the test. But he also highlighted that some of their colleagues would not want to go through all that because they just want to be on the road to make money. Perhaps they have a way of not attending those classes. But then, from what he said and what the FRSC representative said, they do organize trainings and teachings for these drivers. And she said at times they go to the garages and do this sensitization and things like that.
Consistent messaging is important to maintain order. I mean, Oluwakemi, you've done very justice to this. Do you want to, very quickly, yesterday, during your live report of the collapse of that building, give us a bit of updates just for those who missed out on what happened yesterday?
Okay, so the building collapse happened at Oremeta Street in Ojudubega. It was a 3-story building, kind of not completed. The other floors were just decked, and then the ground floor was being used as the restaurant. And people said in the very early hours of the morning at around 8, some said at around 9, they just heard that sound and the building came down.
And how long have they been occupied in that building?
Oh, so, okay, from what I heard people say that the building had been there for quite some time. I cannot say
but it was incomplete.
How many years, yes.
Okay.
But then the restaurant occupied the place maybe for about 2 years, or 2 to 3 years now, before that incident. the sad incident happened.
Very sad to see, but
Very sad.
I was happy to see some rescued alive in any case. And your reporters actually do go through plenty. I don't know what emotional state I'd be in after seeing such. But thank you very much for the stellar reporting that you brought our way through the week and, of course, from yesterday as well. Oluwakemi Alimi is our correspondent here at News Central. And, of course, we're glad to have her for the first time on Breakfast Extra.
Your debut.
Your debut at Breakfast Extra.
Thank you.
We'll give you the plaque later. It's somewhere on your way out.